All right, good morning. I'm Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, and we're here this morning to talk about the death of a deputy overnight. What happened is about 10:30 last night, Deputy Michael Hartwick, who is 51 years old, been with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for 19 years, was working a traffic detail on I-275 north of Gandy. There's a lot of construction going on 275, and he was assigned to assist the construction crews and provide for safety for them as they did overnight construction work on the interstate. Deputy Hartwick arrived around 10:30 last night at his assigned post. He had his emergency equipment on, was blocking the two inside southbound lanes of I-275. He got out of his cruiser after he parked there, and there were cones up and down clearly blocking the traffic lanes. He got out of his cruiser, was standing on the shoulder of the road, and from what we can determine through the investigation, he was facing to the north. So again, his cruiser was facing south, he was blocking the southbound lanes, and he was standing on the shoulder of the road facing northbound. One of the construction crews that was going to pick up the concrete barriers to block off more permanent lane markings on the interstate was traveling northbound, and it was a big, huge construction front loader with the big forklifts on it to move these 1,000-pound concrete barriers. As Deputy Hartwick was facing to the north, the loader, driven by a Hispanic male by the name of Victor Vasquez, struck Deputy Hartwick and killed him instantly, and he died at the scene. After hitting Deputy Hartwick, Vasquez continued north, probably for about a quarter of a mile, pulled the loader off into a parking area, got out, told another construction worker that he had just killed a deputy, and took off his helmet, took off his vest, and began running from the scene. The other worker took his vest and his helmet and hid it in a wooded area to the west of the location. Vasquez is still at large. We're seeking him now actively. Again, his name is Victor Vasquez. He's a Hispanic male, about 35 years old. We believe that he's still on foot somewhere in the area, and again, it's an active scene. We're actively looking for him. Deputy Hartwick's family's been notified, and again, it's an active investigation. I'm telling you what I know at this point. The charges against Vasquez are leaving the scene of an accident involving death, secondary felony. The other guy that helped him get rid of his vest and his helmet and his other equipment, he's been charged with being an accessory after the fact. He's in custody now. So that's what I know at this point. All I can say is here we go again. This is 18 months after Deputy Magley was killed. We go 110 years in the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office with no line of duty deaths, and now we have 2 in 18 months. But Deputy Hartwick was doing what cops do every day. He was out doing his job. He was on his assigned post. He was trying to protect the scene out there for the construction workers, and ironically, he got hit by one of the construction workers on this loader. Of course, what Vasquez should have done is stop, and he should have rendered aid, and he certainly should have acknowledged what he did, as opposed to fleeing and now being a fugitive. So happy to take any questions that you all have, and that's about what we know at this point.
Do you know of any prior arrests on Vasquez?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you, is that there's even some question as to who he is. We're still trying to flush that out now. We're going to put out a photograph of him. Our Public Information Office will put a photograph out to you. I really ask you all, and hope you will, is to share that photograph as far and wide as you can. And anybody out there, the last known address for Vasquez is in Tampa. Anybody out there that knows where he is right now, please call the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office or the Tampa Police Department if he's in Tampa. Let us know because we really want to get him in custody. The best way that we can do that right now is with the public's help, with your help, and to share that photograph because we got a lot of assets and resources. You can hear the helicopter up above as we're standing here now. We've got K-9 teams out. With the help of the St. Pete Police Department, other law enforcement agencies, we're just saturating the area. But this guy needs to be in custody. Yeah, so, Mike's been with us for 19 years. I know him. He was assigned to the patrol division. He was working out of our North District station on a night shift. He's a patrol deputy, a guy who for 19 years dedicated his life to protecting and serving the people of Pinellas County and doing what cops do every day. Mike was a good guy. He's a good cop, did his job. He's got some adult children, and of course they've been notified. He just went through a divorce. His most recent former wife is living out of the area. Does have some other family members, again, in the area, but they are adult children. And his mother's still alive. She's been notified. His father's deceased. And that's pretty much what I can tell you about Mike.
Was he one of those overnight off-duty details?
Correct. It's an off-duty. Yes, an overtime detail. Yeah.
How old is he?
51 years old.
Can you tell us about just the size of this search? It sounds like the air around is a lot of that.
Yeah, there's probably hundreds of cops out here trying to get this guy in custody. He killed a cop and he ran. And we need to get him in custody. He needs to be accountable for what he did. And it's just mind-boggling that he would do that. And he knew because the guy that he shed his vest and his helmet when he told him what he did, he knew he killed a deputy, and he made a phone call to somebody else after he did it, saying that he had killed a deputy. So he knew very well what he did, and then decided that now he's not going to do the right thing. He didn't do the right thing to begin with how he was driving out there and what he was doing, and then he didn't stop and even try and render aid, and of course fled. And so, yeah, we got a lot of assets and resources. We'll have a lot of assets and resources. We're not going to stop till we get this guy in custody. I don't know that because I really don't know enough about him. And again, we don't have a criminal history. I'm not even 100% positive that is his name. That's why we will need to get this photograph out there. He's got some identification that we're able to obtain, and it could be fake ID. So the answer to that question is it's possible, but I really don't know. I can't tell you.
How could the public assist in this investigation today to make the investigation a little bit easier?
Is that there's somebody out there that knows who this Victor Vasquez is or whatever his name is through this photograph, and there's somebody out there that knows him. He's got family, he's got a girlfriend, he's got relatives, he's got friends, he's got somebody. This guy in the area of Tampa that we know he was living in is the West Tampa area, the area around Columbus Avenue, in that area of Tampa. Somebody over there knows him, and what we really, really need the public to do is to step up and help us find this guy, tell us where he is so we can go get him in custody and he can be accountable for what he did. Yeah, so it's a big, huge front loader with a big forklifts on it that moves these 1,000-pound concrete barriers. So it was massive, and the way he was going, he was probably driving, I'm approximating it because we do have the incident on video from the dash cam in Deputy Hartwick's car, is he was probably doing on the shoulder of the road with that big vehicle probably at least 20 miles an hour, and he was going at a pretty good clip. The big forklifts on this thing were straight out and they were up, and it looks like that he just ran those into Deputy Hartwick, and he suffered a lot of trauma, and that's what happens when you get hit by something like that. Yeah, there's no indication at this point it's an intentional act. The intentional act is fleeing and leaving the scene and not being accountable and doing the wrong thing. And of course that's very troubling, but there's no indication it was an intentional act. Yeah, it's going to be closed out there for a while, and for your purposes and for the public's purposes as well. I think right now it's somewhere around 6:30, I think. Is that at 7 o'clock there's going to be a procession. Deputy Hartwick is being loaded into an ambulance now as we speak, out there at the scene, which of course is I-275, just to the north of where we are in the southbound lanes. So they're going to leave out there at 7 a.m. They're going to come south on 275, get off here at Roosevelt. They're going to come by here in front of us on Roosevelt to Almerton Road and down to the medical examiner's office. So anybody that wants to get out and pay respects to Deputy Hartwick, we'd like to see that and get the public support. So anybody that wants to do that, there'll be law enforcement officers lining the route, but they'll leave at 7 a.m. I would imagine they'll pass by here somewhere probably around 7:05, 7:10, but the route will be, again, Almerton and to the medical examiner's office. All right, well, I appreciate it, and again, appreciate your help, and hopefully you guys will help us get that photograph out, and the public will help us and get this guy in custody. Appreciate your time. Thank you.